the clever rooster who outsmarted the sneaky fox in the farmyard. Hello, wonderful friends, and welcome to Storytail Kids, the place where magical stories come alive and adventures never end. Today we have a special tale to share with you about a very clever rooster and a sneaky fox who thought he could trick anyone. This story will teach you about being smart, staying safe, and thinking carefully before you trust someone you don't know well. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss another amazing story. And let's begin this exciting adventure together right now. Part 1. The Rooster's Happy Morning on the Farm. On a beautiful farm surrounded by green meadows and colorful flower gardens lived a handsome rooster with bright red feathers that shone in the sunlight. Every morning, this proud rooster would climb to the highest fence post and crow loudly to wake up all the farm animals below. The rooster loved his life on the peaceful farm where he lived with hens, ducks, sheep, and cows, who were all his friends. He spent his days scratching in the dirt looking for seeds, teaching young chicks important lessons, and protecting his flock from any danger. The farmer who owned the land took excellent care of all his animals, providing them with fresh water and plenty of grain every single day. The rooster felt safe and happy, knowing that the tall fence around the farmyard kept wild animals from the forest far away from them. One particularly beautiful morning, the rooster was singing his cheerful song from his favorite perch when something unusual caught his sharp eyes moving below. Through the wooden slats of the fence, he spotted a flash of reddish fur sneaking quietly through the tall grass just outside the farmyard. The rooster stopped his singing immediately and watched carefully with his head tilted to one side, as birds often do when observing something suspicious. His instincts told him to stay alert because he had heard stories from the old hen about foxes and their clever tricks and cunning ways. Part 2. The fox's sneaky plan begins. The creature moving through the grass was indeed a fox with a bushy red tail and yellow eyes that gleamed with hunger and mischief. This particular fox had not eaten breakfast yet, and his stomach was growling loudly as he searched the countryside for an easy meal to catch. When the fox spotted the plump rooster sitting proudly on the fence post, he licked his lips thinking about how delicious Rooster would taste for breakfast. But the fox knew that roosters were quick and could fly up into trees, so he would need to use his brain instead of his speed. The clever fox decided to try one of his favorite tricks that had worked many times before on birds who were not very smart or careful. He approached the fence slowly with a big friendly smile on his face, trying to look as innocent and harmless as a puppy playing in sunshine. The fox called out in his sweetest voice, "Hello, dear rooster, what a magnificent voice you have, and what beautiful feathers shine on your body today." The rooster looked down at the fox, suspiciously remembering the warnings his mother had given him long ago about trusting strangers with flattering words. The fox continued speaking in his smooth voice, saying that he had heard the rooster's wonderful crowing from far away across the forest and meadows. He told the rooster that he had traveled a great distance just to meet the famous bird whose voice was more beautiful than any songbird. Part 3. The clever conversation and quick thinking. The rooster listened to the fox's compliments, but his sharp mind was working quickly, analyzing every word the fox spoke with great care and attention. He remembered his mother's wise advice that foxes always have hidden reasons for their kindness, and their words are sweeter than honey, but hide dangerous intentions. The fox noticed that the rooster was not immediately fooled by his flattery, so he decided to try a different approach to trick the bird. He said in a sad voice that he had traveled such a long way and was feeling very tired and thirsty from his journey through fields. The fox asked if the kind rooster might come down from his high perch just for a moment so they could have a proper, friendly conversation. But the clever rooster had no intention of coming down within reach of those sharp teeth hidden behind the fox's fake smile and sugary words. Instead, the rooster decided to play his own trick on the fox, using the predator's greed and eagerness against him in a surprising, clever way. The rooster pretended to look excited and interested in the fox's words, while secretly planning how to teach this trickster an important lesson about honesty. The rooster said in a cheerful voice that he would be delighted to come down and chat, but first he wanted to share some wonderful news. He told the fox that the farmer had just announced that all animals in the forest and farm were now friends and nobody would chase anyone anymore. Part 4. The tables turn on the tricky fox. The fox's ears perked up with interest when he heard about this supposed peace treaty between all the animals in the countryside and farms nearby. But before he could respond, the rooster suddenly looked past the fox toward the edge of the forest with wide eyes full of excitement and joy. The clever rooster exclaimed loudly that he could see the farmer's hunting dogs running across the field, coming directly toward them with wagging tails happily. He said how wonderful it was that the dogs were coming to celebrate the new friendship and that they could all become friends together immediately. The moment the fox heard the word dogs, his entire body stiffened with fear, and his tail stopped wagging as panic filled his yellow eyes completely. Without even looking behind him to check if dogs were really coming, the fox immediately turned around and began running toward the forest as fast. The rooster called out, asking why the fox was leaving so quickly when they had just agreed that all animals were now friends and peaceful neighbors. The fox shouted back over his shoulder while running that he had suddenly remembered an important appointment and could not stay any longer to chat today. The rooster laughed from his safe perch on the fence post, watching the fox's bushy tail disappear into the forest like a flash of red lightning. All the other farm animals who had been watching from safe hiding places came out clucking and quacking with admiration for the rooster's brilliant quick thinking. Part 5. The lesson learned and celebration. The rooster's clever trick had worked perfectly because he used the fox's own dishonesty and greed to protect himself and teach a valuable lesson about trickery. The farm animals gathered around the fence post, looking up at their hero with respect and gratitude for keeping everyone safe from the dangerous predator. The old wise hen who had warned the rooster about foxes nodded her head approvingly and praised him for remembering her lessons about staying alert. She explained to all the young chicks that this story showed why it is important to think carefully before trusting strangers who appear suddenly with compliments. The rooster explained to his friends that he never believed the fox's kind words for even one moment because actions speak louder than sweet talk. He taught them that when someone flatters you too much or makes promises that sound too good to be true, you should always question their real intentions. The farmer came out of his house when he heard all the commotion, and the animals told him about the fox's visit through their animal language. The farmer was proud of the clever rooster and gave him extra grain as a reward for protecting the flock with intelligence rather than just physical strength. From that day forward, the rooster became even more respected on the farm, and his story was told to every new chick that hatched from eggs. The fox never returned to that particular farmyard, again having learned that some birds are much too clever to fall for the oldest tricks in existence. And so, dear friends, our story of the clever rooster and the tricky fox comes to an end with an important lesson for all of us. The rooster showed us that using our brains and thinking quickly can help us stay safe from danger, and that we should always be careful about trusting strangers who use sweet words to hide bad intentions. He also taught us that cleverness and caution together are more powerful than strength alone, and that honesty is always better than trying to trick others. We hope you enjoyed this wonderful tale and learned something valuable that you can use in your own life. Thank you so much for watching Storytale Kids, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends. Until next time, stay smart, stay safe, and keep enjoying magical stories with us.